Mayor, whenever you're ready.
All right, we're on.
Okay. All right, everybody. Good evening. I hope all is well. Couple of quick things. First, I wanted to congratulate everybody who celebrates the Lunar New Year. A Happy New Year. I wish you a year of success, happiness, and wealth, and health, and a Corona-free year coming. I hope you all be the head of the tiger and not the tail, as we like to say in our New Year. Second, I wanted to also mention a quick update. There will be new traffic pattern by Great Neck North tomorrow, starting tomorrow. This will hopefully help with the congestion that appears every morning during the drop-off and pick-up in the afternoon time. The school is going to help put the barricades so we can have a nicer traffic flow. This way, it is going to be safer for our kids who go to school and also for the staff. Third, I wanted to bring to your attention that scammers that are going around and telling, this is coming from PSE&G, that your payments are not being processed properly and you have to use Zelle or some other form of payment, and otherwise you're going to lose your electricity, and it happens in a half hour or an hour, and they force people into payment from their account. So I would like to make sure, I have discussed it with PSE&G, and they told me that that has been on the rise in the past couple of days, especially today, that there was a spike. So I just wanted to let everybody know, please let your friends, anybody calls and tells you that you're going to lose your electricity, PSE&G does not call homeowners that they're losing their electricity. They may call to just give you a reminder, but they will never ask you to make payment now or you will lose your electricity. So just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of that as well. Fourthly, I wanted to just give you good news. I don't know if anyone's following the curve of the COVID. About 2 weeks ago, we had about 7,000 cases a day, new cases a day. That has dramatically dropped. So we are almost at the bottom of the curve. Yesterday we had only 177 cases in Nassau County. So it has gone from the peak of 7,000 a day to 177 as of yesterday. I'm sure that's even going lower today. Again, we're going to continue hoping that this endemic is going to come to an end. And I believe that's the direction that this country and other countries are going. And I'm hoping to come up with all these mandates, mask mandates and vaccine mandates in the next couple of weeks. With that, I would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and the Republic of America, and the Republic
one
which
nation
stands,
under God,
one nation under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a hopefully not a very long agenda. Hopefully we can try to get through this fairly quickly, and hopefully people can continue with the celebrations if there's anyone here who is celebrating the New Year. Abraham or Brian, which one's going to start?
Mayor, the first item is the Nassau County Police Department monthly report. As you can see on your screen, there was 32 aided cases with the 7 larceny incident in the month of December in the village. The list of accidents are listed in front of you. As you could see, unfortunately, there was few accidents exactly at the same spot on Middle Neck Road and Baker Hill Road, the usual venue.
Do we have an explanation of what the nature of these accidents were, or not really?
They do not. For example, as you could see on 12/3, it was a failure to yield right away. It's usually probably was a motorist was turning left and the other one was turning at the same direction, and probably that they hit each other. This one, as you could see on the 8th, it was backing unsafely and unsafe speed. And this one is on the 11th at the same location, backing unsafely. And the next day on the 12th was a passing of a improper usage of a lane.
I think that's when the car jumped the middle curb.
Oh.
Sorry. One of them.
I'd like to also take this opportunity to ask people, I know many people just leave their cars. Many people actually leave the keys in the cars or just don't lock their cars. Please make sure that your cars are locked. I had a discussion with the other mayors, and we are trying to come up with different ways of securing the peninsula. One of them is a plate reader. There are some villages that have placed facial recognition cameras. We are discussing that. I don't know if we're going in that direction. But these services are available, and I think if these things continue, we may need to take a stricter look or stronger look at these technologies to prevent or hopefully increase our security. So these discussions are being held. I just want to let people know that we are going to also have another meeting with the Commissioner Ryder and a couple of different companies who are going to provide these technologies and see how we can bring them to use. Okay.
The next item on the agenda is under old business, update on a 112 and 113 Steamboat Road.
Mayor, the board will recall that with respect to 112 Steamboat Road, this was an application for the demolition of 5 existing residential structures and a former taxi stand, as well as for the refurbishment of an existing temple, and to construct in their place 14 Steamboat Road Incentive District townhomes. The premises are in that incentive district and therefore will eventually require Board of Trustee approval for the construction of the townhouses. By way of an update, however, there was a recent superseding amended application that was filed. It has some changes from the earlier application. The building department will need to review that and issue a denial letter. And the building department is also reviewing the CEQA material that was submitted earlier to see if that needs to be supplemented. Hopefully it will not. And then the superintendent will be in a position to recommend a CEQA finding. And based on the current plans and review, it is anticipated, but not yet determined, that that will be an unlisted classification with a negative declaration. Further, we must arrange for the ZBA to defer to the Board of Trustees as being the lead agency, which again, we don't expect to be a problem. We're also identifying the specific parking waivers that will be needed and determining whether that is also properly before the board. All of this paperwork gets put together before it is then sent to the Nassau County Planning Commission for Planning Commission comment, because that is also a precondition to Board of Trustee approval. And lastly, community benefit will need to be agreed upon in order to grant the townhouse incentive sought by the applicant. So that's the status of 112. 113, the applicant, I think, is considering further what exactly it is that he wants to build and whether he anticipates going to the Board of Trustees or the Zoning Board of Appeals. So there's really no update on 113, except to say that the applicant is further deliberating on how it wants to proceed. With that said, we have had some conversations with the attorney for the applicant and are optimistic that we can move on 2 tracks and move forward with the demolition at least. That's not been concluded, but those are the nature of the discussions. That's my update.
Okay. Does the applicant have any comments?
Good evening. It's Dan Chavolian, Mayor, members of the board. Just wanted to clarify a couple of points that was raised during the last meeting, and a statement was made after that meeting. We're not intending, first of all, there was a question mark as to why you're building 26 townhouses and putting 26 rabbis into each one of these townhouses, and are they all going to be are they going to be tax exempt? I just wanted to clarify that first, we're not having 26 townhouses. 112 is only calling for 14 townhouses. Out of these townhouses, we're intending to fill up probably 8 to 10, or maybe a little bit more or less, with staff members. The rest of them will be up for rent. As we've had, with the current houses that are on the premises right now, we've always had, we have right now 5 plus 1, 6, basically 6 properties that are tax exempt. Should we not go ahead with this current plan, we will probably just buy another few houses and just, put in our staff members in there. But we don't anticipate having more than 10 at a given time. So we think that probably up to 10 will be tax exempt, and the rest of them will be paying taxes. Out of the 10, it's quite possible also that some of the staff members will be paying taxes. So, once those taxes, obviously, they will be paying rent. So once we collect rent on those, we will be happily paying taxes on those properties. So that's basically 112. As far as 113 goes, I understand that we need to go in front of the BZA for that property. We want to move ahead with it very fast, expeditiously. We want to basically either knock this down and put up the new townhouses, or if we can't put up the townhouses, we want to basically go ahead and finish the current renovation that we started. There was some issues with the foundations. They can be rectified. We've had some engineers look at them. But I think everyone that I've spoken to thinks that the townhouses will be a nicer project for the village, and the residents and everyone else will be happier. So 113 is off the table right now. It's going to go to the BZA. We want to take the village's advice as to what to do next with that. If we can come to a resolution to have an understanding that we're basically going to replace it with the townhouses, we can knock down the current structure. And as far as 112, we're ready to proceed. 14 townhouses, that's going to replace the 6 current properties, buildings, structures there. And some of them will be paying rent, some of them will be paying taxes. It's possible that even up to half of them will be paying taxes. So I think it's, I hope that I clarified some of these questions that you had. If there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Mayor, you are muted. Mayor, you're on mute.
Mayor.
Maybe he lost a signal.
Could have been.
He dropped off.
Let me just see if he's in a.
No, he's here.
Oh. Mayor, can you hear us?
There it is. Can we move on to the next item on the agenda until the mayor gets back?
No,
I'm so sorry, I just got disconnected for a second. What happened? I missed a few minutes.
Mayor was just waiting for you to come back. Mr. Chavolian finished his comments regarding some of the points that was made in the previous meeting.
Right,
well.
I heard those. I understand. So I think as far as 112 goes, The comments were made by Peter regarding the CEQA and all the other things that need to be done. And as far as it goes with 113, I think that's going to BZA to make the determination. And I understand about the tax exempts. I do believe that there are many people, based on what I'm hearing, are looking to have more townhomes, and I'm hoping that this will start a new trend in that area.
We hope to. We're completely on board on that.
Okay, so we can go to the next item.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the new business is a petition from the residents at Second Road to place a parking restriction on the resident. I'm going to pull up the petition that they have submitted to the board in just a moment. Here is what it has been submitted by Ms. Neufeld. Ms. Neufeld, are you on the meeting?
Gail, if you're on the meeting, just unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I saw you. Probably you are muted.
I thought you had to unmute me.
Oh, okay. Would you like to present your petition?
Gail, I'm on as well if you need.
Barbara, why don't you present since we did this together?
Sure. This is Barbara Berkowitz speaking from 3 Second Road in Great Neck. We've had a problem now for quite a while with, I assume they're workers from East Shore Road parking on both sides of our street. They're in at about 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes before 7. They stay until 4 to 5 o'clock in the evening. They're loud. They take up all of our parking spots. They park for the day. We pay a lot of taxes for this not to be a parking lot on our street. We're very uncomfortable around all the workers who are in and out and playing their music. And we politely request that there now be a limit of 4-hour parking on the streets of Second Road.
And may I add, please, that because they park on both sides of the street, if an ambulance or a fire truck tried to get down the block, they would not be able to. That's the presentation.
Okay, so the question I have is, if we go ahead and do a 4-hour parking limit, I don't know if that's going to, if they're going to park, I don't know if that's going to prevent ambulances to come in. Is everyone there okay of maybe doing 4-hour parking on one side and no parking on the other side from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 6 p.m.?
And how do you suggest one chooses which side of the street? I can tell you, I wouldn't be comfortable with having cars parked all day long or even 4 hours in front of my house.
Well,
They're
It's
there
sort of
now.
the same problem.
so the problem is that it's parking now. The question I have, you're asking for 4-hour parking limit, which I'm okay with. I think it should probably be even less, especially if no one in your street actually parks their car on the street, which I'm assuming not.
I can tell you almost nobody does. I've lived here now for over 40 years. I've seen residents come and go, and there really has not been much street parking at all from people who live here, other than if a worker is here.
Workers could get a special permit from the court to park.
Right.
If we eliminate parking during the day.
The only issue with that is if someone has a repair person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could easily get a day permit. Just call the court and let Dawn know that you need to park on the street that day. And
For one neighbor who has workers come every week or two, one day a week, can she get a standing order?
Yeah.
Well,
You're
What
talking about
kind
like
of-
like a homemade or something?
Yes, somebody who comes in 1 day a week for about 3 to 4 hours,
Yeah, I think.
same day.
Yeah, they can't park on site on the driveway?
I don't know, it's not my house.
Okay. All right, well, we'd have to discuss how to do it then.
Again, I think.
But if you say it could be done with a permit, then does that
I'm-
eradicate the problem,
No,
Gail?
I don't know if you could do it as a standing order. So I
Oh.
might have misspoke. I think it could be done on a per day basis. If you call the court and ask them that we're gonna have somebody here for this day. Otherwise, if it's something that's gonna be repetitive, you probably want to make accommodations for them to park in the driveway.
Yeah, usually Bart, it's for special circumstances, not
Right.
for routine workers or something
No,
like that.
I just do it right, okay.
It works for me. I'd be very happy not to have any parking on the street.
And I would as well, and I have a second driveway if there were an emergency with your neighbor, Gail, if she ever wanted to use my second driveway, she's welcome to.
Right, so is it possible, I know it's a small, very neighborly street. If the worker that comes in, let's say every week, once a week for 4 hours, can that person park in somebody else's driveway?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what
That's
Barbara
what I
just
was just
offered.
offering, right?
So I don't know if that's for this, right, so I think if we can do something similar to that, maybe then we can actually decrease the parking to 90 minutes. And
You were
then,
looking at my house just now. And my second driveway,
so maybe we
And
can
that's
just.
my house.
We
right?
can do 90-minute parking, so so no one's going to park there for 4 hours. And I think that's going to deter a lot of the people who are working on East Shore Road to actually park, because 4 hours, to be honest with you, they can take a break after 4 hours and come move their
Right.
car and then go back. 90
That was
minutes.
my concern.
No one
Yeah.
wants to do that. Right? Every hour and a half, they have to run up the Vista Hill, go back down. I don't think people want to do that. But if you do a 4 hour, they may.
Sounds
Good.
reasonable.
Sounds good to me.
So if everyone's okay with that, is the member of the board ready to just approve a 90-minute parking in that area? Is anybody there?
Fine with me.
Bart, Annie,
I'm
Ellie?
okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Just
I'm
one
okay with
question.
90
Could we
minutes.
go ahead and be greedy and ask even further if the 90 minutes could be for the other side of the street, only one side?
But do you think it's enough if we do one side, then everyone's gonna park on the other side?
It's enough for me.
No, I'm just saying do 90 minutes both sides, so no one parks in that street, period.
But then you still have the situation of emergency
Right.
vehicles not being able to get through.
Right.
Right, so if you do 90 minutes each side, no one's gonna park, so the emergency vehicles can easily get through.
I only meant if we did 90 minutes only on one side,
So what happens on the other side?
people from the other side have to park on that one side. if
And
they
no
need it for 90
parking on,
minutes.
so just to be clear, what you're saying
Yeah.
and recommending is no parking on one side of the street during daytime hours and
Right.
90-minute parking during daytime hours on the other side of the street.
Absolutely. It makes it much easier also for
that means
vehicles to turn around.
And Monday to Friday. Because the
Right.
workers don't come on weekends.
Right.
So, right, so if that's fine with me. I mean, I thought that you're saying one side you can park all day, the other side only 90 minutes.
No.
So you're asking no parking on one side.
No parking
90
on one
minutes
side.
apart.
Right.
Okay,
And it's
that's great.
possible, if I can go ahead and ask one more thing, Mayor Brow? If
Sure.
the no parking be on the side of 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Now just tell me east or west.
East,
Which way is the east?
east, it's east.
East, is there a reason you're asking for that side?
That's the side we live on.
Absolutely.
So you want no parking on that side?
on the left side.
No parking on the left side of this photo, where the yellow house is and then the red house and so on. Not where the dead end sign is, the other side.
Okay, so you're taking the hit, you want to say, in a way, right? You
No,
sacrifice.
just the opposite.
No, that we can't park in front of our own
I would
house.
like to
Yeah.
say, I would like to say that you want to take this, sacrifice yourself and not park on your
Absolutely.
right. So you're
Absolutely.
sacrificing yourself not to park on that side, and
A
you're okay.
magnanimous gesture, Mayor Brown.
Okay. All right. So if everyone's okay, I have no problem with even saying no parking on either side, but I think it's not right to the residents if they have something that they need, so someone's coming to drop something off or pick something. I'd rather have that 90 minutes window. I think that will deter a lot of people from parking there. So if the board is okay with that, I would like to move no parking on the east side and 90-minute parking on the west side.
Mayor, there's a
I'm okay with
time
that.
limit from maybe 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, or there is no time limit? It depends on the day, not the hours.
I think you can say 8 to 4 and then Monday through Friday.
Mayor, do you want to make it the same hours as East Shore Road?
Which is,
I believe it's 7 to 7. I don't know. I can just go down the hall. One moment, I can tell you what it is. If you just let me one moment.
And I think you probably want to accept Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays.
right, except, yeah, right.
Right.
Oh, here it is, the sign. 1 second, please. I just had it. It seems like I can't get in front of that sign.
That sign, you think it says no parking from 7 to 7 or 90-minute parking from 7 to 7?
I can't see it. I can't get to it. It's
So let me,
two hours, 7 to 7, I believe it is.
okay, the neighbors on 2nd Street, are you guys okay with 7 to 7?
For one side, is it correct?
Yes.
One
Yes,
side
because I
7 to
can't
7,
imagine
one
when I
side
go,
for parking.
when I go out, when I leave for work at 6 or 6:30, there are cars there. I can't imagine
Yes.
that they're gonna park for an hour and then leave.
But can you,
So 7 should
residents,
be fine.
residents of Second Avenue, Second Street
Road.
Sorry. Can you please let your neighbors know? Just so that
Yes.
they're
Absolutely.
look out? No, but let them know that if they have a special need, a worker is coming, a contractor or something, to please call Village Hall to get permission to park for the day.
Sure.
Okay? Just so people don't think like they can't, in case they really need it, we could do that.
Great.
Also, Abraham, make sure that the sign says 90 minutes from 7 to 7 on the west side, no parking 7 to 7 on the east side, except weekends and holidays.
Hey, you wanted 90 minutes or 2 hours? 90 minutes?
I say 90 minutes.
Okay, sure. 90 minutes on the west side and no parking on the east side. And it is 7 to 7 Monday through Friday.
Right. Except no holidays. Good. Right.
May I add just one thing? For some reason, and we have no idea where this came from, there's a sign at the first house at the very end of the corner on the east side saying only 2-hour parking allowed at one point, and then there's a sign, no parking. So that would have to be straightened out if there is a sign. I don't remember it ever being on the docket for a meeting.
On Second Road?
Yes. It just suddenly appeared.
I'm sorry, where is it? I'm just turning
the
The
into
very
entrance
it.
of Second
first
Road?
house at the corner of Vista and Second on the east corner.
There's a no parking anytime sign that I see in this corner. I do not see any sign. Well, this is from 2017. This is from
Well, and
2000.
they just put a sign up in front of the first house that
Right.
says no parking here to corner. Right?
which it
Isn't that
never
what the sign
appeared,
said?
right? Yes,
That's probably a daylighting sign so that it's the cars don't park too close to the corner.
Right. That's new. That's not going to be on Google.
Okay. Okay, Peter, do we need can we do we need a resolution for this, please?
Yes, I think the resolution should be moved, seconded, and passed. Is there a motion to approve on the east side, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., no parking except for Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, and also on the west side, 90-minute parking, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., except for Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays?
I so move.
Moved by Trustee Hope, seconded by
Second.
Trustee Sobel. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
None.
Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next
Thank
item
thank
is
you all very much.
Thank you. Can I just ask, when will that be effective as? So when I write a letter to all the neighbors, I can let them know that?
I think we have to ask Louis when he can put the signs up.
I could let Gail know, Mayor.
Great.
When he's gonna have it.
Yeah, I think ask Louis how long it takes to make the sign. I would say a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I'll tell them maybe as of March 1st, just to,
Just make sure that they, Brian, can we send, I think maybe it's better if we send an email to Gail or Barbara a few days before, giving them the exact date so they can actually distribute it to the neighbors. I don't want any of the neighbors to get a ticket.
Okay, yeah, I'll work with Louis to get a date and let everybody know.
Okay.
Beautiful.
great.
Thank you all so much.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Have a
Good
good
night.
night. Bye-bye.
the next
Next.
item is a request for a temporary certificate of occupancy bond that was submitted to the village to be returned to the homeowner at 12 Lawson Lane. Mr. Haramis, you're on mute.
Mayor and Board, 12 Lawson Lane, built a new house. They needed a temporary C of O. They had basically everything done. They put up a bond for the temporary C of O. They are looking for a refund of that bond. The problem was during the temporary C of O, everything was supposed to be done within 3 months. It took a little longer for different reasons that maybe the homeowner could explain. So they're looking to get back their bond refund.
Mayor, on that agreement that you saw a moment ago, could we put that back up? Directing your attention to the top of the page. It is finishing off a clause wherein the $10,000 was put up as security to complete the work, but then there was an in addition clause, which is that you can draw down on that $10,000 at $500 per day, going past the completion date that was targeted in the agreement, which I believe would pretty much use up all of the $10,000. So technically, you're not using the bond money. The bond money is being drawn down because of this next clause, the in addition to clause.
Got it.
Just want to add that the temporary CO was issued in June of 2020, and it was valid through September 23rd, 2020. And any day past that day, there is a $500 drawdown from that $10,000.
So this is over a year ago, a year and a half. And when was everything done?
Hey, Ray, could you bring up the inspection to see when the final was done?
November 20th, 2020 is the site inspection that was done. And the note says that the site inspection for a CFO showed general contractor still hasn't finished outdoor barbecue and a dentist chair, general contractor requesting CFO without it. And then it says that it will be discussed with the superintendent.
Yeah, Mayor, I had went out there. They needed a fire extinguisher in the dentist's office and a carbon monoxide detector, smoke detector. But when this went into agreement, it was during COVID, so it's not the homeowner's fault that it took so long because it was during COVID.
Okay,
So we went out there as soon as we were able to get in the house and people felt a little safer. And we wore masks and went in and the homeowner let us in and we saw everything was done and it was all taken care of.
okay. So the delay was because we couldn't go in and take a look, or the delay was because it wasn't done because of other reasons?
Pandemic. It's because of mostly because of the pandemic. Maybe the homeowner could.
Sure. Hi, good
if you
evening, Mayor Brawl. Good evening, trustees and other attendees, and happy Lunar New Year to everyone. I'm Farnaz Tamar. I'm one of the homeowners. And so we ran into significant delays because of the pandemic. There was a period of time when we weren't allowed to do construction whatsoever. So that delayed us. In addition, 2 aspects of the construction of the dental operatory were delayed. There was the cabinetry as well as the operatory chair, both of which were sourced in China. And as you know, there were significant delays in the delivery of all items that were coming from China, unfortunately. So that set us back significantly. Also, in terms of labor throughout, we did also experience a lot of delays in contractors that were available to come out to install those. And so for those reasons, that set us back. And then finally, once that was done, the minor things, then Stephen was really great and was working with us throughout the whole process. He came out immediately and notified us that we were missing a fire extinguisher as well as a carbon monoxide detector. And as soon as we were able, we furnished those, sent the pictures, and then received our permanent CFO. So during the pandemic, that's the best we were able to do. I recognize that, some of the aspects of the home that we created were a little bit different than the traditional ones, which included the construction of a single operatory illegal unit. So that did set us back because I work as a dentist, but always as a staff dentist. I've never constructed an office before. So there was a learning curve and I didn't know the right vendors that would do this fairly quickly. It wasn't something that was super profitable for them. So there was an incentive to come in to plumb and install a single chair or the cabinetry for a single chair. And for that reason, but otherwise we tried to be as compliant as possible. All other aspects of the home really were up to par. It was really just the dental part that set us back significantly.
What was the reason of the $10,000 bond? Just because if the entire house was pretty much done and there was only dental chair or some aspect of the office that wasn't completed, what was the reason for a $10,000 bond?
So
Steve, yeah.
apparently, this has been a past practice in the village. And if Abraham could bring it up again, you'll see one of the previous inspectors brought up the agreement.
Right, okay, so this is, I know usually that happens when there's something significantly left with the house, not just the chair, or some small minor stuff.
So we want to, we kind of make sure, we get that to make sure that the work is done and it's completed. So that gives them the incentive to basically finish the job.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Steve?
So this gives the homeowner an incentive
Mhm.
to finish the job.
Right, okay, I mean, I understand that sometimes that the homeowners really are lacking or dragging their feet. I think in this case, they were pretty much done except one small portion, which isn't really an accessory to the house. And I understand that this happened smack in the middle of the pandemic when everything was shut down. I feel that it's unfair to, I know that they signed it, they probably shouldn't have signed it, but I feel that it's unfair to penalize someone for the things they couldn't really do anything about, especially with all the mandates and restrictions. The pandemic has caused significant delays in everything. I don't have an issue if this is really because of the mandates to consider returning the money. But I'd like to hear from the other members of the board as well.
I agree.
Are we also? It's that for me, it wasn't a significant amount of time. It was 6, 7, 8 months past, and I understand, but it's only been 2 months after, so I'm okay with returning the money.
I agree.
Okay. Bart, anyone has any comments on that?
Yeah, I'm in agreement also. My computer audio wasn't working.
Okay. All
Mayor,
right.
are you making a motion to return the bond deposit?
I make that motion.
Seconded by Trustee Hope, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously.
If I may, I just want to sincerely extend my gratitude to all of you for your consideration and for your decision, and also to thank Stephen very much, because he was working with us so closely throughout the whole process, and he made it as easy as possible in a very hard time. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Good night.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Here, the next item is a modification to the floor plans at the property located at 523-531 Middle Neck Road. Is the applicant Mr. Kuo or Mr. Wellner? Would you like to explain the changes?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor Brawl. Good to see everyone again. Good evening, trustees.
Good evening. How are you, Steve?
I'm very good, thank you. And thank you for the Lunar New Year wishes. Really greatly appreciate that. We're here tonight. I'm here also with Bob Wellner, which is the general contractor from Jobco. My name is Stephen Kuo, 523-531 Middle Neck Road. We're seeking and asking for consideration and approval to extend the wall on the northeast corner to be flush with the rest of the building. The original design had a terrace on the second and third floor, but with no roof over the third floor. It was brought to my attention by the GC that it would be best practice to have the building more watertight and have a roof over that third floor apartment instead of having it open, because the second floor similar apartment does have a roof over it, because the deck of the third floor basically is the roof for the second floor. So it was brought to my attention, and we had gone on site to take a look at this, because what was designed looked good on paper, but in the field, and from the GC's experience, it was best that if we could try to extend that roof to cover and be flush with the building. That led to then me asking why couldn't we just move the door and everything outward so the whole entire thing is flush, which we're showing in the the diagram over here, if Brian or Abraham could show that corner the way it is today, design that was approved, you'll see that there's a terrace on that north east corner. And if you
Yeah,
look,
this is closer.
yeah, this is closer, right? Thank you. We've been working with Stephen, and I also want to thank Stephen again for his, he's been very instrumental and very involved with our project, and also any issues that come up, he's been always there for us to try to resolve. And I've been speaking with him and also Bob since probably November, December timeframe to see how best to, resolve this issue. So if you look at the approved diagram, you can see that we actually had a surplus of 65 square feet that we didn't use on our based on the zoning. Now, if you go to the next slide, this would make it so that we utilize the 65 square foot in full. So it would look like this. It would be almost flush. If you go to the next slide, this would bring it flush with the entire building, and basically from a rear elevation standpoint, it would be more uniform too. But then we would be over by 13.6 square feet per floor. So that would be about 27 square feet in total that would be over. So we're here to discuss with the board and to get any input on if we could, have a consideration to bring the wall at least to as close as possible to where the exterior building wall is right now.
So question to you, Steve, that checkered area, I believe is on the east side of the building, that area. Is that the terrace currently, or that is on the first floor? I don't know. I'm looking, this is a bird's eye view. I just want to, is that a terrace on the third floor?
Mr. Mayor, oh, you want to answer, Steve?
No, go ahead. If you want to answer, Bob, you can go ahead.
Yes, Mayor Brown, that area that you just outlined, that's actually a balcony. That is part of that unit, and that's an outside balcony. That remains as an outside balcony. And
how big is that balcony?
Sorry?
How big is that balcony? The dimension?
It extends out about 4 feet. Extends out 4 feet.
It's 4 feet by 13 feet.
Correct. No, that's 13.6. It's a number of square feet. It's about, I would say it's about 9 feet across at that point, roughly 8 to 9 feet.
Right.
And each of the apartments in the rear have the same balcony.
Right. Why, just out of curiosity, why wasn't this done in the original plan?
It actually, we didn't, I honestly didn't even notice it. This was obviously designed by the architect. And as you, design something and you actually start building it, there's certain things that look right and certain things that may not look right, which they do changes in the field. This was one of the ones that were brought to my attention because of Bob saying that from his experience, it would just make the building more watertight. He can explain and elaborate more to that. But then when I was on the field, I said, why couldn't we just extend the balcony door to be flush with the rest of the building? It just made more sense. And this particular apartment actually already has a balcony in the front too. So it has a front and rear balcony.
How big is the front balcony?
It goes out 4 feet as well, and it goes across the front of the apartment. It's a little wider. It's probably at 12 feet. Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot wider because
it's a lot. Well, that just on that one side, yes.
Yeah, it's a lot wider because it's covering a bedroom and a living room.
Right. I don't think I have a problem with it. I always thought that an outdoor area would be sought after in this neighborhood, because especially in an apartment building where there's really almost no outdoor area. So I do like the balcony again, personally, I think I do like the balcony to be larger. I think that would give more of a room. And I don't know how many bedrooms this particular apartment is on the third floor.
The 2-bedroom, Mayor?
3-bedroom?
2-bedroom, Mayor.
2-bedroom. I'm just assuming that an outdoor space would be sought after in this neighborhood, but you know, to have a large balcony may have some benefits. I know it's looking into the parking lot, but I'm okay with either.
Yeah, and just to, you know, kind of highlight one thing, if you go to the second floor, right, that terrace that was designed gets no sunlight whatsoever because it's above the terrace is basically the floor of the third floor terrace. So it's completely enclosed.
That's on the second floor.
On the second floor, right. So that's why it just makes more sense to just bring the entire exterior space out to a balcony where it's just completely out in the sun, because and then use that as an interior space. It just made more logical sense too, because the second floor, you have, you know, you gotta have this enclosed exterior space because you have the roof or the floor of the third floor terrace.
Right. Listen, as I said, I think it has its benefit as an outdoor space, but again, it's a personal choice. But I'd like to hear from the board if they have any questions or concerns. I'm okay either way.
Isn't that on the third floor where it's being extended?
No, it would be for the second and third floor.
Second and third.
It would basically, the door that if Brian or Abraham, if you could bring it back to the original approved drawing. So that door where you see in the bedroom, that would be extended outwards for this apartment on the second and third floor because they're identical apartments.
So, I mean, I understand why you want to reduce it for the second floor. And the third floor, your reasoning is that you just want to be consistent, is that it?
Well, the original reason for doing it was for the third floor so that there would be a roof over the entire balcony area.
Right.
Meaning not the terrace, I mean the terrace area because of you know, to just make it more watertight.
Right.
How big is the bedroom on that side? I think we need to move on after this. How big is the bedroom currently?
I don't, let me see if I could try to find.
Well, aren't those feet on the grid?
No,
No?
no.
Well, you said the terrace is 4 feet, so then the grid would be 1 foot each square.
Yeah, if you give me a couple minutes, I could try to pull up the original.
Right. I hear you, Bart. You're right. So if that's 4 feet, I think that
This is
8 feet.
It's about 8 or 9 feet to that door.
So
We have it on the next slide. You'll see the distance, you know, the third slide. Oops, you went.
1 second. This is the original.
Yeah.
This is the current door, and they're moving it to here.
So it's
So this is 8. They're moving it 8 feet northeast.
you know what? The only thing that concerns me, and again, I don't know if people would like to have a larger bedroom or would like to have an outdoor space. I don't think it's a significant either way. I mean, we're talking about 27 square feet. It's not significant. The question is, would you?
Mayor, it's probably more like 50 square feet.
No, they told me total of 27 square feet more than what they're allowed to have. I think that's what they're asking. But you're right. So it is going to be a large. It's going to add more to the interior, but it's going to take a significant amount from the exterior.
Yeah, I think it's better used interior.
What? People rather have.
My personal opinion is it's better used interior.
Okay. I guess that's for debate. Again, as far
I
as.
agree. Make the living room bigger or the bedroom bigger.
Bedroom bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
They're making the bedroom bigger. Okay.
Mayor, may I just ask of the superintendent, on the drawing, as I'm reading it, the code allowable will still show a variance. Is this something that a variance is required for, Steve, or do you just consider this a
De
field,
minimis.
de minimis field variation?
It's a de minimis field variation because it's only 13 and a half per floor.
It's
For the
less
grand
than
scheme,
5%.
27 square feet for the whole thing is de minimis.
Very good, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Move on.
Anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, move and seconded. Any consideration, any discussion?
No.
Okay.
Mayor, I believe the motion should reflect, however, that you are approving the determination of the superintendent that this constitutes a minor field variation.
Right, going all the way flush to the rest of the building.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. And also, do we have to again approve the possible facade, or we're just going to say that it's part of this today's discussion?
I think, sir, that we're better off if it's just a minor field variation, then no other approvals need to be reviewed.
I like that better. Okay, very good.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
Thank you.
trustees. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen. What's that?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Steve.
Yes, yes, thank you, thank you.
Was this voted on yet or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we did vote on it?
Yes.
Yep.
Mayor, is a minor field variation, the superintendent can actually do that himself. You're simply approving the determination he's made.
Yes, but I didn't hear the vote, but if you say we voted, then that's fine.
No,
Very good,
we
sir.
didn't vote. There was a first and a second. Now we have to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstention? The motion passes unanimously.
Right, Mayor, trustees, thank you very, very much, and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Steve.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, the next item is the request to reduce the fees at 14 Hartley Road. It's been requested that this item be tabled through the next meeting.
Okay,
The next item is creating a position of the Secretary to the Board of Zoning Appeals. As you know, per civil service rule, each board is entitled to have a secretary. However, that position has to be voted on to be created before we can apply for that position with the Nassau County Civil Service. Is there a motion to create a position of Secretary to the Board of Zoning and Appeals for the Village of Great Neck?
so moved.
Second.
For a second?
Second.
Is Move and
Second by
second.
trustee Hope.
It's
All in
moved and
favor?
second. Yep,
Sorry, Abraham.
no problem. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. The position is created. Brian, please contact Civil Service to ask them for the minutes have been created. However, it hasn't been reviewed and submitted yet. I apologize for that. It will be ready by the next meeting.
Thank you.
The next item is the abstract for this Friday, February 4th. I will put it on in just a moment.
So I just have a couple of questions. The kidney fund, had they paid us money and
So this
we're-
has to do with a retired employee from the village that has been vested and entitled to have health insurance through the village.
Right.
Without mentioning any names, this employee has renal disease that, according to Social Security and Medicare rules to be exact, after 36 months, they automatically become eligible for Medicare coverage as a primary coverage. Now, there is an agency that helps with people with the disabilities that is caused by kidney failure, and the amount that this individual has to pay to remain in the on the village's health plan has been paid by this agency. Now, this individual became eligible in July of 2021. However, the agency that pays for the premium prepaid it prepaid it. So basically we recalculated the premium, because if the Medicare is primary, the amount of premium for the village drops significantly. So what we are refunding is the difference between the Medicare prime rate and the rate that the individual would have paid if he was not on the Medicare. So this amount has been prepaid to the village. Now we are just refunding it.
I see, to the kidney fund. Okay, got it.
Yes, yes.
That was one question. Did we recently change the janitor service, the cleaning service? Because I saw in
It has been quite a while. Yes, it's been almost a few months.
I guess I saw them at Jan Pro. Okay, and and one last question. And this is it's a small amount, but I'm just curious. If you have a clerk who is working for other villages, does the cost of that licensure get split among those villages, or how does that work? We just pay it all.
We usually traditionally we have paid it because that individual has been working for the village for majority of the time, 4 days out of the 5 days.
Oh, I see. So we do the majority. No, I understand. I was just curious if it was if we're getting the majority of the service, then I would understand it. Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the abstract.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It's passed. Public comments.
Please unmute
I have
yourself.
some questions.
Mr. Zelenziger,
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
okay. David Slenziger, 15 Beach Road. I had a couple of questions. First was, in view of the mayor's recent comments about bloodbath and the need to get rid of all kinds of undesirable things, I was just wondering, I mean, is he intending to run for higher office like U.S. Senate or Congress this year?
Next question.
That's very interesting. I thought you would be more educated to ask that question. I was just referring to what our previous county executive mentioned in a interview in Fox about the bloodbath. I know that how you guys like to twist everything I say, but that's why there's no reason to answer that question. I think you should go read the newspaper before you make these comments, but it's okay.
Well, I read that, but there isn't a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate or in the 3rd Congressional District so far. So strike me, you might be interested in that.
I tell you, I have little kids and I have a very more important job than running for the Senate at this time. I enjoy being a mayor and I enjoy being a physician. I can't be a physician and a senator. And at this time, neither or my family really would like to run for a higher office. So the answer to you, I know you may want to nominate me, but at this time, I think I'm going to decline that nomination.
Well, very well. Now back to village matters in a totally different vein. In view of the fire in the Bronx, in the apartment house where so many people were killed, I'm wondering if perhaps the building department or the village itself might contact some of our many multiple dwellings, apartments that have managing agents, some that may not, and just make sure that we have, closed fire doors, fire alarms, sprinklers, and so on, so that nothing like what happened in the Bronx could happen here. Remember, we had that incident at 26 Brokaw in that apparent house that was allegedly rented to one family, but there were dozens of families there, and we could have had dozens of people killed a couple years ago.
Well, David, we in the building department have a whole list of multiple dwellings. It's an annual thing that we have to do by law to do multiple dwelling inspections, and the inspectors have been out doing that. We've completed 10 so far out of the 35 or 37 multiple dwellings that we have in the village. And we're going to continue to do our inspections, and we check for everything has to be checked. Sprinklers, smoke detection, carbon monoxide detection, parking garages, standpipes, everything gets checked, all the common areas. So we are on top of that, yes.
Well, that's good to know, because obviously, you know what sort of I was thinking about, that it's not just our village, but all the municipalities need to check that, especially now that it's cold and heating season, that we don't have anything that happens here that like happened in the Bronx. I have another question, and that's also for the board. With all the contracts that have been signed for design and feasibility studies and so on, is there any date for groundbreaking for new village hall?
It's a great question. We're going to have, I hope that everybody understands that with anything that has to do with the village and the municipality, everything takes a lot longer than anyone would like. We are going to have a final meeting on Friday for the final site plan. And I think after that, it's going to go in a couple of months. I'm hoping to have a response so we can have a final design with the engineering and site plan and facade for it to go for a bidding. But it does take some time to get to that point. I'm hoping sooner than later.
Do you think it'll be calendar year 2022 this year?
I am actually pushing as hard as I can to make sure that it happens in 2022, yes.
And I have one last question for our clerk treasurer. That Moody's thing that I keep asking about, has that finally been all adjusted, or is it still pending?
It is pending. They need the latest audit. I was hoping that the auditors can give us a report by the end of the calendar year 2021. It has not happened. We had a meeting a couple of days ago with them regarding, as you know, every audit, they come up with some adjusting journal entries. I'm sure you're familiar with those. They have proposed those. We are reviewing it. They also have scheduled a field work for us. We have provided all the information that they've asked us to provide. We are waiting for them to give us what we call AJEs, or adjusting journal entries, as well as a field work. And we are hoping to issue the report within a month and a half. From there, we are going to issue, hopefully, the 2021 audit report before the fiscal year ends. And we are on schedule. If that happens, then we can send it to Moody's to get back our rating. But I can assure you that it has been sent to the auditors. They're just waiting for them to issue the report.
Well, it sure takes a long time. Thank you.
Sure.
I see Nina, go ahead. I see your hand raised.
Hi, okay, let me lower the hand. So I have two things I want to ask about, and
Please, name and address, please.
Nina Gordon, South Middle Neck Road, Great Neck.
South Middle, what address, South Middle Neck Road?
200.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, I'm a little unclear about what just transpired with this bond issue. Is a bond required of every person with new construction? Is that standard procedure, a bond to guarantee completion?
No, if they're asking for a temporary C of O, we require it.
So everybody asking for a temporary C of O has to put up a bond. Were there other temporary C of Os requested during COVID?
I can't give you that information right now. I don't have anything in front of me.
Okay, I just, based on what I just witnessed transpiring, it just seems like there really isn't much meat behind asking someone to put up a bond to ensure completion if you just forgive it when they ask for forgiveness.
Because of the circumstances of the pandemic, you have to be a little.
Well,
lenient on
what
it.
I get it, but what came up
Ms.
for me
Gordon,
was
Ms. Gordon,
that
there are
this is a
10,000
year.
residents. There are 10,000
later.
residents in our village
Correct.
who have a stake in this. And not one of them has an issue with this, apparently, because they haven't come to
I'm
this.
just asking to understand. I don't have an
But you don't
issue.
live in this village. I don't understand what your concern is with this.
That's not relevant whether or not I live in the village. I'm trying to
Well, actually,
understand how the village works. Maybe I want to move there. Anyway, the other question I have is about something that's taking place in the village. It's been advertised on social media, but there's not a lot of information about it. And I was hoping that the mayor can maybe elucidate. There's something scheduled on the village green for Sunday, a rally, a candlelight vigil against crime, or I'm not quite sure who's putting it on. And when I've asked for details, I've not gotten a lot of information. What I can see on Facebook and other social media sites is that it looks like it's almost a campaign rally for Lee Zeldin. It's all Republican officials. And, regardless of one's political affiliation, I think we can all get behind a candlelight vigil to honor our police and pay tribute to those sad events and loss of life. But I'm a little leery of what looks like to be such a partisan event. And I would like more details since it's taking place in the village. I was hoping you can elaborate for me.
So a couple of things. One, even though I don't like to respond to your comments about the bond that is taken, the practice has been that if someone's asking for temporary CFO, the bond is asked because we want to make sure for the people who move in to complete and bring the building or the house into completion. It has also been a practice in most of the United States that because of pandemic, many things have been pardoned or delayed. Our taxes have been pardoned at points or delayed. We did not ask for people to pay their taxes on the day that it was usually collected because of this. I think we live in an area and in a town and a village that we expect our leaders to be more understanding of our hardship and the fact that we were hit by a pandemic, that it was none of our faults. To come and say that our bond has no meat to it in this, it's cold, it's heartless, and it's not called for. So I would like to think that my board is actually caring and listens to people and understands what they're looking for and what they're asking. These people moved in, they finished everything except a small little part. They were not able to get their parts in on time because of obvious reasons. And to come in and say that our codes mean nothing and our bonds have no meat or no teeth, it's uncalled for. And
please don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say no teeth.
Nina, I did not interrupt you. I don't appreciate you interrupting me.
You're rewriting my words.
If you want to make a comment, I take your comment, but understand that there is a reason, and that's why we have boards. And the boards are elected to make these decisions, and we have made that decision. As far as your other comment about this rally or this protest or whatever that is, I do believe that we still live in a free country, and I don't know who the organizers are. This is not happening in our village. It's happening.
Yes, it is.
It's
happening in the
happening.
village green.
Excuse me, why do you keep
You
interrupting?
know, I don't know. Some people can't, you know, Nina, you get respect when you give respect. You ask the question, I'm answering it. It's in the park. The park is in our village. The fact something happens in a park, which is a completely a separate entity and a separate institution, it's regardless. You're asking us who these people are. I don't know who they are, and I don't know who's organizing it. Nor do
Are you not speaking there? So you won't be part of it. Are you not being part of it? You're not going to be there?
If they ask me to be part of it and I study it, I may become part of it. If it's against the crime, I'm going to want to be part of it. Has nothing to do with, I don't even know who the speakers are. You're just assuming that because Lee Zeldin is coming, which you just told me, that this is becoming a campaign issue.
Mayor Brow, I find it difficult to believe this is the first you're hearing of it.
Well, you can find anything you want hard to believe, but you think that I'm organizing a rally?
No, I did not suggest you were organizing it.
So what
I
are you
asked if
suggesting?
you, since it is taking place in a park in your village,
Right.
and since I'm sure you've been asked to participate, I wanted to know your opinion on it. Why am I sure? Because the advertisement I've seen says local elected leaders. Mazi Melissa Phillip will be there. Ann Donnelly will be there. Bruce Blakeman. I'm not upset. I'm just speaking clearly. Bruce Blakeman will be there. Lee Zeldin will be there. I haven't seen one Democratic name, which seems odd to me. And this is why I'm concerned that it's a political rally in a public park being promoted as something other than what it is.
I still, again, I do believe that we live in a free country and people who want to have rallies and protests, they can. We had protests in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes, but I believe our park district does have rules about
no one has rules that is going to trump freedom of speech. Maybe in your village you do. I don't think it's American. I don't think I believe it's against the Constitution. If anybody wants to have a rally for any reason or any protest for any reason, it is allowed by law. Now, I don't know who has been asked to speak. I don't know who has declined to come and speak. That's not in my preview. But if you're seeing Blakeman, he's the new executive, and Mazi is the new legislature. Lee Zeldin, they might have asked him to speak because he wants to run for a governor, or maybe because he's a sitting congressman. Regardless of your opinion that this is a political rally, it is really not called a political rally. It is called against crime. But if you want to make it political, you can. Because
well, when you invite
politicians,
it becomes political. If it was led by rabbis and priests, I wouldn't call it political.
Well, I don't know if the rabbis and priests are invited or not. So why don't you wait until Sunday and find out?
I certainly will. Thank you thank you for sharing your insight.
Yes, you're welcome. Anyone else would like to make a comment?
I just want to say one thing.
At this point.
On was it Wednesday, January 26th, the village, in conjunction with Temple Bethel, held a blood drive at Temple Bethel, and I think that there was a very nice turnout, and it was a successful event. I'd like to thank our court clerk Dawn Wood for organizing it, and our judge Gary Slobin for helping let us use Temple Bethel. If he had something to do with that, I think he did. But it was very, there's a very big blood shortage, and it was very needed. I think they collected, well over 30 pints of blood that day. So
I also want to, again, thank you, Bart, for bringing up. I think Temple Bethel has been a great partner. I know they helped us with distributing about 1,000 COVID vaccines. about a year ago, and now with the blood drive. So I want to appreciate Gary as the president and also the temple and their members for allowing us to use their space to serve the community. Any other comments?
Anybody just unmute yourself? Mayor, I don't see anybody else.
Okay, very
Right.
nice. Happy
Happy
New Year, everybody. Wish you happy and healthy to everyone who celebrates it. We'll see you in 2 weeks. When is the next meeting?
On February 15th.
February 15th. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Move to
Happy New
adjourn.
Year, everybody.